In this video, I'm going to discuss how you can actually fund your residential assisted living business or any type of facility that you're looking to start in any kind of residential setting. So if you're interested, make sure to stick around. What is going on, everyone? I hope you're all doing well. If you're new here, my name is Serge. Welcome to the channel. To all my reoccurring viewers, thank you so much for all the love and support that each and every single one of you have shown me. And if you have not yet, make sure to go check out the God Made podcast on most streaming platforms. Also, feel free to go check out Legion Assisted Living Academy on Facebook. That is a free Facebook group that you can actually join and network with other individuals. Also, if you have not checked out LegionAssistedLivingAcademy.com, you can go check that out. And that is where I teach how to start your own facility from A to Z. And there's a couple other things on the site that you can actually purchase, like actually coming and booking a day and spending a whole day with me. Or if you're looking to book a one-on-one mentorship call, you can also do that. That link will be down below. And if you have not yet, make sure to check out Valley ALF Ventures on Instagram. Also, valleyalfventures.com if you are a passive investor who is looking to passively invest in some deals. We have some, and we are always looking to passively bring on anybody who's wanting to get in on any of our deals. Also, any operators looking to potentially expand or sell any of their facilities, feel free to reach out to us. We would love to speak with you. And also, if you are looking to do any kind of placement in the Metro Phoenix area, we also assist with that. So with that being said and all the housekeeping done, let's go ahead and jump into the topic of this video. So I oftentimes get asked, what is the best way to actually go and get funding, especially if you don't have the necessary capital to actually get started and have your residential assisted living going? Now, one of the main ways to actually get funding is to go through any type of private lending. So I do have a colleague that I talk with. I will actually link, and you can actually check it up out here. It's called 7 Figures Funding, and his company actually provides private lending to individuals who actually qualify, and you guys can actually go check that out. But the nice thing about that is that you actually, depending on your credit score, right? That is one important component of it. Also, the current income that you have, you're going to have to provide things like your tax returns, bank statements, things of that sort to make sure that you are somebody who they can rely on and that you're reliable, somebody who they can provide funding for, essentially. So you're going to want to make sure that you provide and have a good credit score. Make sure that you have a good source of income coming through your W-2. Maybe it's another business that maybe you operate, but make sure you have something lined up for that. And also make sure you have all your ducks in a row when it comes to your business. So having your business plan and pro forma ready to go to show potential projections, or if you're actually looking to take over something existing, that is something that you will need to look at and provide, such as P&Ls of that existing business. Also, what the current income of that business is and how you're going to go in there and increase it potentially. So these are things that they will start looking at. Any type of lender, whether it be through private funding or traditional financing, is going to look at these items. But with that, private lending is the first one. The second way is actually if you are going to be doing the real estate and the business together, SBA financing is another great way and route. The con to doing the SBA financing is that it typically takes a longer time. They actually require a lot more for the underwriting of the said business. And so the problem with that typically is that a lot of these individuals, mom and pop operators, don't have great bookkeeping. So typically the underwriting gets a little kind of gray for SBA when it comes to this. So you want to make sure whatever existing business you're going to be looking to acquire has great bookkeeping. And then if it's something that you're going to be starting from scratch, again, they're going to really look at your experience in this field and even your healthcare experience to be able to get the SBA financing. So even though SBA financing is a great route and typically they can give you pretty favorable terms, right now with the interest rate environment, it's a lot higher than your average interest rate. But again, you can always refinance down the road if necessary. But SBA financing is not for everyone. So that is the con to doing the SBA financing. Now, another route in order to maybe get something from scratch or by an existing is to go through commercial lending. So commercial lending, depending on the commercial lender and who you're working with, you really need to make sure that you understand this business inside and out and that you have all the information to provide them, because there will be a lot of commercial lenders, in my experience, who have no idea what this business model is, that it actually even exists. So it's kind of a 50-50 when you go to commercial lenders and you bring your business plan and your business model and what you're trying to do. They may or may not feel comfortable actually moving forward on lending you anything, even if you have the 25% down that they typically require. Another thing with commercial lending, their terms are shorter. So typically it's a 5-year term, 7 or even 10, with maybe a 20 to 25 amortization schedule. So keep that in mind when it comes to commercial lending. They're going to require a lot more down. So 25% of whatever that purchase price may be. Also, their terms are typically a lot shorter than maybe your average conventional loan that you may go with a residential lender. So keep that in mind. But typically with commercial lenders, the pros of doing something with a commercial lender is because they're gonna, they'll look at you as a candidate, and they're not going to be so focused as much on your credit score and how much income you're bringing in. They're going to focus a lot more on the asset and what that asset will actually produce, and underwriting that said asset that you are going to be running this business out of. So that's what they'll typically look at. They'll look at a lot of how your business is going to be run and the asset and what value that asset's truly going to have. So keep that in mind when you go to a commercial lender. But again, you have private lending, SBA lending, commercial lending, and then typically what you can do is, maybe if you are somebody who's wanting to start from scratch, you could go down the conventional residential lending. But the problem with that and the con to that, even though you may get a longer term, you might be able to put less down, maybe 5 to 10, depending on how you're claiming that piece of asset or real estate, whether it's your primary or maybe it's some type of creative financing that you're trying to do. Typically, it's a lot harder and almost impossible to get any type of financing done for an existing business with residential financing or conventional financing. So if you're looking to go down that route, you're typically wanting to start from scratch, and maybe you just buy the real estate through conventional lending, and maybe you go and get a separate business loan through maybe some private lending for the business component. Keep in mind, you don't want to over leverage yourself at that point. So when it comes to financing your residential assisted living, again, it's all a matter of how you are underwriting each business and looking at the pro forma, looking at the P&Ls, and making sure that it can support what it is, what debt you're actually taking on. So I tell a lot of people, it really comes down to, what are you capable of doing? How are you sitting financially? Because that will determine a lot in which route you should go. Because again, not SBA isn't for everybody, because they're going to look again at your experience in this field, in the healthcare field. So they're going to write you off if you don't have that. And they're only becoming a lot more strict with that. Commercial lending, again, the terms are shorter. They'll require more down. So you may have to have more money out of pocket up front to be able to get either an existing business or start from scratch. But if you go down the private lending, again, the terms aren't going to be nearly as great as maybe if some of these other options. But with the private lending, you're typically able to get your startup costs and be able to have enough to be maybe do your down payments. But again, you want to look at those terms and what kind of debt service you're actually going to be having when you get started. So again, these are a couple ways to get your residential assisted living or any type of business in this residential setting and healthcare setting for this. So keep that in mind. I hope that this video provided you guys some insight. And also, if you want more information on how I've structured deals and done deals and continue to do deals and taking on debt and what type of financing options are there and getting more in depth, again, you can book a one-on-one mentorship call, or you could come and spend a day and ask me any additional questions. You guys can see how operations work, etc. So make sure to go to legionassistedlivingacademy.com to check that all out. And again, thank you so much for all the love and support, and I will talk to you all in the next one.